Welcome to You Change the World, and another kind of decor today as I'm on my way to travel. So I do not have my red microphone and I don't have my headphones. So I'm going to do this in a very kind of freehand way and casual way. And why not? We can do that from time to time. Plus, it's a nice weather that finally we have after a lot of rain in the eastern side of the New North America. I know that there is a growing number of attendees and audience from Europe and French-speaking ones. So I'm going to have to start speaking French, not today, but from the next show, we'll have the captions under me that will show you the translation. I hope I can achieve that. I could do this one time, but we are going to try to do this systematically. So I will sometimes switch to another language so that I can address everybody. But You Change the World is really about sharing with you what I'm going through with my clients because it's coaching, because I think I am very privileged to have a good variety of organizations, and they are really, most of them multinational. They are large organizations, but there is also smaller organizations and entrepreneurial settings where it's really about a business owner or it's about a non-for-profit organization. And everybody has, of course, a different kind of environment. And according to that, obviously, problems come to me in a different way. So I think that what I'm trying to do, this is really what I have in mind, is to share with you as much as I can the dynamic of these sessions and what is it that really the leaders that I coach come up with, and how do we address this if we have anything to learn. So this is definitely what is the goal of my 15, 20 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes time with you. You Change the World is really accessible on most of the social media channels that are there, especially Facebook, Instagram, X Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. For the YouTube viewers, please subscribe to YouTube. Our channel is You Change the World, and it's also Coaching Path, sorry. The website is coachingpath.com, where you can reach out to me and you can eventually even set up a meeting with me, and we can meet, or for a free session if you are interested in coaching or in mediation, or just to talk and to meet and to get to know each other. So please do that. Go on the website, coachingpath.com or andrepulitzer.com, and you will have all kind of content over there that are available to you to discover. And it's about coaching, and it's about sometimes also mediation, which are two different things and two different things I do. I do much more coaching than I do mediation, voluntarily so. And today I wanted to address you with the topic of the week, the dominant one, that had to do with time management. It's true that, in fact, I had two dominant topics, but the other one I addressed it already for the last few weeks. It's It's really a reorgs, reorganizations, and how to adapt ourselves to these changes, and how do we behave with that. But there's something in common between the two, believe it or not. This about reorgs and the one about managing time, and it's about being the owner of your destiny. It's about taking charge of your destiny much more than you think you can. And that's really what I feel I'm doing. It's not, as you know, a coach doesn't prescribe anything. It's not advising on anything. It's what I hear between the lines. And it's also the gap, the non-spoken, also the non-thinking. I believe that a lot of you really do not realize how much time, in fact, and how much ownership you have available to you. It's amazing. We let ourselves, in other words, very easily, and it's totally natural. There's nothing to feel bad about, but we let ourselves taken by all kind of distractions and pressures that, in fact, do not concern us, or we can eventually separate ourselves from. This is a choice to make, and sometimes you have to make it very, very strongly. This way, by making it very firmly, your communication becomes much more clear, and you are setting boundaries around your time or around your space that are boundaries that make you, in fact, function much better. When you ignore that, and maybe it has to do not with ignoring it, it has to do with not realizing it because you don't give yourself the space. And you think that by being a people pleaser, by not saying no, or by opening up your door, have this open door policy, you go really, in fact, a little superficially into what it means, and you let your door open. But the fact of the matter is that you need to first take care of yourself. If you want to be available to your staff, to the people that you care for, that goes beyond work. If you want to make yourself available and you want to give unconditional attention, right, and time to someone like your own child, your own spouse, your partners, when you want to give that time to an associate, to someone who reports to you, when you want to give your attention to them, if you continue to take the distraction and be dependent on someone else's decision of what to do with your time, right? I make it very, very simple for you. This is, in fact, a realization, an awareness you need to own, to have, and to wake up about today, immediately, because I feel the pain. I feel the pain. I went and I still do go through this pain. I still am also dependent on things that come externally to me and disrupt really my schedule or this thing about time, things that I need to set as steady, as really coming back, as recurrent, as consistent in my calendar. Example, because I'm really very emphasizing today that you have to take care of yourself. This buffer, this time, this sanctuary, that space that you need for yourself to reflect, to understand where you are before you move forward, to stop being impulsive and jumping always on an urgency, but to really reflect and step back. And by the way, before anything, I want to tell you, I'm very, very much focusing on perception. I'm very, very much focusing on what kind of space you give around you so that people can deal with you in the best way, respect you, give you the space as well to be who you are and have your impact on them as a leader, for example. How can you do that if you let yourself have other people, other entities, whatever they are, make decisions for you about how your day is going to go and how your time is managed? Oh, it's easier said than done. Yes, I agree. But my first question I ask when someone comes with a time management issue is, how much time do you own? Let's talk about it. Let's go deep and dive in deep into who owns that time of yours. Who is making the decision? There's no doubt, there's a proportion of time that you need to comply with that is not yours, that is not under your control at all, and you have no seats at the driving seat. So that is the time that I need to isolate somehow, somewhat, have a good understanding of how much it is, 20%, 30%, 40, 60% of my whole time. I need to attend meetings that I don't choose, that I have to report to someone who calls me anytime randomly. No, that's the one which is the red flag. I say, no. You can tell your boss, don't do this with me, because you're not going to get the best of me if you continue to do that. You cannot do that. You cannot interrupt me, and you cannot send me text and immediately expect an answer from me when I am in a meeting or when I'm with a customer. There is all kind of rules, all kind of boundaries, call them boundaries, that you can define the rules and create your own policy, even with your boss, even with the CEO of the company or the owner of the company. You employed me. I am an employee, right? Even if I'm the vice president, senior vice president, or if I'm the president of the company, or I report to the board of directors, I can dictate a good portion of things to tell people how to handle me and to be with me. That's really the question that we ask. It is really the way we have to function. So this is to take ownership, right? This is really to take ownership and have autonomy about how we manage this time. This is really very important. So I just pause for a second. Are you getting that? Because it's extremely, extremely important. And maybe ask yourself that question. And please don't hesitate to make a comment here on LinkedIn or YouTube or wherever you have a comment line. Share with us, with everybody, your experience on this, because this is really something I want to know. How much time do you own? And how much you give yourself to own? And how much more can you own, right? Those are the real questions I ask. How much more of the time that you think is dependent on your boss or on the customer, how much of that time can you take back to yourself? Can you say, well, I'll make the decision of what I do with this time? Because time is too volatile, right? People always say time is money. I don't understand this sentence. It's not absolutely not comparable. Money comes back when you lose it, but time does not. Okay, it's very simple. One very big difference between the two. So I'm not going to compare time with money, but I'm going to say one thing. It's much more precious than money or stocks. Time is really life, and you don't want to waste it. So I don't pretend I'm better than you are because I'm the coach. But when I hear my clients talking to me about what's happening in their day to day and how much they feel overwhelmed, today was a good example. Someone was telling me, right, that he does not, in fact, explore growth in his position, doesn't want a promotion, because he knows that if the higher he gets into the ladder of the organization, and the more he's going to be, the busier he's going to get. And the more responsible you are, the more you have to attend meetings and all kind of things like that that he's thinking about to say, I'm comfortable where I am. I can do my sports. I can take care of my family. And I can do all of that in the position I have now. And I don't want to be promoted because if I'm promoted, that's what's going to happen to me. I'm going to be swallowed into this typhoon of things to do, and I'm going to be starting to be dependent on politics, and I'm going to have to say yes to everybody, and just don't own my life anymore. I'm going to be just completely dependent on all of that. You know, there's two things also. It's interesting, we come from different cultures, right? I come from Europe. There's people who come from Asia. And it's so interesting. I have this filter in my mind because I'm coming from another country that we take those things differently, each of us. Time also is an element of culture. How do I let someone manage my time or how much autonomous I am? But there is another criteria. There's a culture that says, I work very hard. I stay long hours. And that is a criteria of performance. I'll even tell you where it is most common. I'm not saying it's all everybody. I'm never generalizing, but for sure, in my little world, if I again take my thermometer, my measuring tools, what I feel from the cultural differences is that Chinese, for example, give a lot of importance to the quantity of work and efforts they put in their job, and they're going to take it as merit, and they're going to claim it that I work very hard, and therefore I deserve this or I deserve that. How about the person who works much faster, more efficiently, has been in fact doing a great change, a great transformation in how that person manages his or her time, and by doing so is more efficient than this person who stays 3 more hours at night, even at the office, that you find sweating and under a pile of files, trying to sort out or reconcile accounting or creating or creating a report on PowerPoint. How much do you really think? Who is really better than the other if you would have to compare? The one who organized the schedule in a way that that work could have been done in slots of times that were very well managed and positioned in the calendar for the week, and that person could go home at 5 p.m., or that person who, again, is still in the office at 11 p.m. It's funny because intuitively, when I had a team of people and those who were staying overnight or stay late at night in the middle of a project, I respected them a lot. But I wondered, like naturally, are they doing a good job with managing their time to be there? So I was more, in fact, questioning the quality of the performance more than the quantity of it. So, okay, of course, there's other criteria. If you are paid for, additional hours or things like that over time, then of course it could be also, again, compensated for. But all those things show how much sometimes we completely misunderstand the landscape and we create the wrong metrics. A company can be much more efficient, more profitable by emphasizing autonomy and giving you ample space to decide what to do of your time. By doing that, now my expectation of you, if it would be me, the boss, would be I give it all to you to decide. And now do a good job that at the end of the day, you did what you wanted to do at the end of the week, at the end of the month, and feel good about yourself that you achieved what you wanted because you decided what to do of your time. And then I think that for this person that I coached today who said, I cannot move to the next level and be promoted, my answer would be to that person, watch out. Maybe you did not allow yourself to have autonomy and control of your time enough, or claim it back to you. Now, I talk like the world has only people who can do that. Obviously, it's not the case. If you work in a hospital and you are a nurse, or in a school, you're a teacher, of course, you are much more regimented, and you have to join a team of people. It's another kind of ball game, right? So obviously you have to be there at 9, and if you're late by 15 minutes, it's going to cost another person to stay and to wait for you uh, to take over, obviously. So it depends on different factors. And if you are a field person, if you are, a customer frontliner, obviously things change. You work in a retail store, yeah, part of a shift. And if you're part of a shift, you have to be much more dependent on the others and on a schedule. But if it's also arranged properly, the right manager managing this whole shift and this whole staff involvement will do also a lot of efforts to give more time and more space to every team member. Now, a third factor, which is very common these days. When someone is laid off, that person is not replaced. And another subtopic will come back, which is really being burnout, because all the tasks remain the same, if not multiplied. And now we have less resources to accomplish what we're supposed to. Well, that's another constraint. But I ask that question. Can you redistribute the tasks? Did you, in fact, after this transformation of losing 1, 2, 5 team members and having the same load of work, if not more, did you redistribute the tasks? Did you step back again, reflect on what's going on, and change your strategy? When you do that, you're preserving your territory of time. You are, in fact, managing that minute, that hour, those slots of time with a much more higher responsibility and care of the value of time. This is why you have the automatic, I would say, the natural instinct and reactivity that when there is a transformation of something, you have the right reflex to just re-strategize and make sure that you take care of yourself. Now, create another thing I want to say. Create some constant metrics. In other words, if I decide that every day I have 15 minutes of meditation or 15 minutes of thinking back, pausing the day and see how I'm doing, and pause, pray, think, meditate, have a nap for 15 minutes just to re-energize. These 15 minutes, make it a fixed time, make it an untouchable time, make it not negotiable. And again, people will respect you. You know the sign on the door that you go and see sometimes when you go out on a Sunday? You want to, in Paris, buy your baguette at the bakery store? Well, not the whole day. There is a many store that will tell you between 12 and 2, the store is closed. The owner of that store decided to put a sign on the door and give you a boundary. And that boundary is, don't disturb me because between 12 and 2, I'm napping. I'm taking care of my kids. I go and get the kids and I'm doing carpool. This is my time. I decided. And now you know. And now you're going to respect me much more because you prefer to see me in the store than going inside the store and have no one to serve you. That's exactly what's going on. I really tried to simplify it, but it is as simple as that in a way. Seriously. Okay, so Time is the leader's most honest mirror. It will tell you and reveal to you your real value, where you avoid or how you protect and give away your power. Second thing I want to emphasize here today, you don't manage time, you manage agreements. Yes, you can say yes to something or give it a silent no to something else. The real skill here is to be able to search what gets you your full presence. How do you consciously, intentionally, again, mark this presence, a full presence? And then when you have the intention, I promise you, it's going to happen. Thirdly, autonomy does not mean isolation. It means ownership. It means that leaders who step into autonomy, they shape how others use their time too. Meetings, feedback, decision making, prioritization, and review that. Don't make it fixed, make it variable for most of those metrics. The higher you rise and the more you're paid for how you protect and use time, not just how you spend it. If you don't set boundaries around your time, really, and you're not protecting yourself, someone else will, and it won't serve you or your team or your purpose. Okay? I say that right in your eyes. Time boundaries are not selfish. They are signals of clarity. They are signals of focus. They really maintain your leadership strong. You're going to get more respect just by dictating more about how can people access you and communicate with you. You dictate the way. Sometimes you even provide a template. Finally, I think it's very good to create time rituals. What is coming back, recurrent, right? Consistency. That creates safety and gives you a lot of impact. And I think that if you follow those little points that I make, I think that there is a last element because of today's technology and because things go much faster. Well, urgency is an addictive phenomenon. It is. And presence is intentional. That's why I feel that my coaching in general, and I think my colleagues' coaches have an incredible role to play today with coaching. We make people aware of that and we coach them to become better at marking that presence and making it meaningful and stop the urgency and the addiction of it. Choose to be where your impact is felt, not just where your attention is taken away. Don't let them taking away from you. That's really what today you change the world, and it would change a lot the world if you would follow a little bit this approach. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, for watching.